And we welcome you to the PBA BowlerStore.com Classic, presented by Moxy's Extra Pair. It is time to get cold-watered. I'm Dave Lamont. Brian Robinson joining me here. Brian competed in the tournament, made it through the first cut, so he knows this house well. And Pla-Mor Lanes is kind of a legend on the PBA Tour. It itself is as much of a factor in this event as any house I can think of.
It is brutal. It's probably the toughest house I've ever bowled in anywhere in the country, if not the world. And the pin carry's tough. The lanes are brutal. It's just a grind. You just know that coming in, and you just gotta hang in there and just see what you can do.
Yet it always attracts a large field. We had 3 squads, A, B, and C, bowl here yesterday. We cut it down quickly to 32, to 16, to 8, and now to the final 4. And even that took extra work, and we'll explain that in a moment. But it'll be Justin Knowles who won a roll-off with Brent Boho. But he gets Tackett to start things off with, so you've got a righty-lefty to get things going. How do you see this?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, Knowles made a great adjustment towards the end of the round of 8 to just sneak in to bowl Boho in the roll-off. He made it a big adjustment, moving further left, going with a lot more speed, and he was able to sneak him into the stepladder to have a chance at this title. He made a great adjustment, and give him a lot of credit. You know, sometimes it's hard to make that adjustment, and he was able to do it. So.
And the hottest 2 bowlers in Ohio this week are the next 2. Sam Cooley, the number 2 seed, Graham Fach, the number 1 seed. Cooley had been number 1 most of the day. Fach passed him at the end. And, I mean, I know you've been particularly close to Sam the last couple of days. What's working for him?
Yeah, we room together. We travel together a good bit. You know, I think confidence is really a big thing that's helping him. I mean, he got that win. You know, he's bowling good in Jonesboro. He was bowling good in Minster, and he's just carrying it over. So the confidence has been a big thing for him, and he's just bowling great right now. Well,
speaking of bowling great, Tackett is up against Justin Knowles, and let's get to that right now. Tackett is the number 3 seed, and he will begin on the left-hand lane with the strike. It's the 40-foot Marshall-Holman pattern. So what can we expect here from that?
You know, generally this pattern isn't too difficult, but, you know, obviously in this center, any pattern, even if it is relatively easy, even their house shot, when we bowled the Pro-Am, we bowled on their house shot. It's pretty tricky here. It's just a tough building, and, you know, the pin carry is just so tricky because the ball doesn't really want to go through the pins very well here.
And Knowles flushes one right down the pipe to get things started in his effort to win for the first time on the regional tour this year. He has a couple of second-place finishes. And, of course, Tackett with a double-double, literally, in the sport, winning with Marshall Kent back in March in Wisconsin, and then winning the Lucy with DeAndres Beatty. So, but yeah, singles, no, and he made the show in Jonesboro last week, was the runner-up, so he is definitely on good form.
Yeah, everybody that's made the show has been bowling really fantastic the last month or so.
And what Justin Knowles had to do just to get to, in fact, he and Brent Boho, they weren't paired, but they were a couple of blocks apart. They both had to pretty much punch out to make just the roll-off, and then Knowles got to a situation where he had to strike out in the 10th to make it, and he did. And then he and Boho were pretty close until Knowles rolled 4 in a row, and Boho rolled the big 4. Oh. Man, Tackett, these are fresh conditions, of course. We're bowling on here, but they bowled on burn most of the day, which led to some really interesting placement from right-handers.
Yeah, they just started hooking so much in the middle, and they were just having trouble getting it to feed to the right at all. I mean, it just seemed like the ball wanted to pick up so early. I mean, guys were going to, you know, just shelling down, going to weaker equipment, and it just seemed like they couldn't get the ball down the lane. And then you catch some of these pairs that are just, it's so hard to get the ball to read the lane correctly.
You see Sam Cooley in the background there. He awaits the winner.
Oh.
Yeah, you knew right away. I didn't look at the ball. I watched EJ, and I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, that's the topography of Coldwater. You just get it out there too quick. It just has no chance of coming back at all. It's brutal.
It got to the point where in the last couple of games, and EJ certainly wasn't the only, Andrew Anderson who made it into the final 12, or 16 I should say, just about every right-hander would be so far left that their feet would almost finish in the right-hand lane of the other pair.
Yeah, you had to borrow the other lane so that he could bowl.
Not quite so extreme for the lefties, and of course that's Justin Knowles, and also Graham Fach, of course. Mm-hmm. And I think in just having a quick conversation with Graham before the roll-off, he isn't terribly worried about what Justin Knowles is going to do to his side.
No, I don't think it's he's going to be probably throwing it slower and hooking it more, and Knowles is going to be further left. So really, he's not going to be affected by what Knowles does on the lane.
Well, this is tricky, makeable, but obviously tricky.
Yeah, the 2-4-7-10. It's not the spare you want to be shooting at.
Justin mentioned the second place finishes last month at the PBA Pleasant Day Schools Suburban Lane Central Open, and in April he's second to the PBA Bolero Findlay Central Open. It was a one-day event for PBA members only, and he nailed it.
Nice.
Perfectly done, considering the pressure here. This is a great shot.
Yeah, and that keeps the lead. You know, if he doesn't make that, EJ's got the lead now. So that was a big conversion there.
Yeah, and EJ is a good front runner.
Absolutely.
There is an expression here. I used it at the top of the show. It's called getting cold-watered. There are some interesting carries here. There are some bizarre leaves. You just never know. And boy.
Good break there.
Disaster was sitting there for a blink of an eye.
Yeah, he didn't get cold-watered on that one.
Yes, if he had gotten cold-watered, the 7-10 would have stayed up.
Yeah, that was. I think everybody gets cold water at some point during this event. It's just about surviving and just grinding it out. It's amazing how tricky it is pair to pair, even lane to lane. Just you can get one lane and then just not have anything on the other lane. Just very different.
So a grateful single pin conversion there for Justin Knowles from Okemos, Michigan. And, of course, here's the future Hall of Famer, E.J. Tackett from Bluffton, Indiana.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good.
You know, it was funny, though. There was another regional just a few days ago, and he didn't make that cut. His brother did. In fact, Zach made the stepladder. But E.J. did not bowl well coming off the trip from Jonesboro. It was his birthday a week ago.
Maybe too many beverages. That was the problem. Maybe no. I bowled that regional, and they were also very tough. Not quite as tough as this place, but they were also very brutal. And I tell you, if you didn't match up, it was easy to shoot 160, 150 there as well.
And that happened here a few times. There was something that's only happened. Yesterday it happened, the third time in the 14-year history of this event, Andrew Anderson with a 300. You think about that, and you go back behind where we are, there's a wall of champions. There's Parker Bone, there's Dick Allen, there's E.J., who won here in 2014, Michael Tang last year. It was a national title a year ago. Tommy Jones, a Hall of Famer. I mean, there's some studs who have bowled here. And this event, 14 years, 3. That's it.
I'm still surprised. I got to ask him how he did it because I didn't think it was possible to shoot 300 in this building, to be honest with you.
Well, see all the sponsors for 300 games on the wall here. And EJ, there, he gets a kick save and a beauty on the 10. Another thing about that I really love about this event, this is my second time here, you talk about an event that is embraced by the community. This is one of them right here, and I think that's one of the reasons it still continues to draw great players.
Absolutely. It's this community gets behind this tournament. The Hardings do a great job. They they just promote the heck out of it, and it's a wonderful event. It's I always look forward to coming here, you know, regardless whether I bowl great or not so well. It's just a lot of fun to be here.
And Knowles mixers on the right-hand lane.
Yeah, he looks like he's starting to get comfortable here. I think he might be tough to beat. You know, I made that great adjustment, you know, towards the end of the round of 8, and it's been looking solid ever since.
He opened with a double, and then was able to convert 2-4-7-10 in the third frame, and that kept him from falling behind E.J. Tackett. It may end up being the biggest shot of the match, depending on how things go. Okay, got the sleeper out. Good for the count, and good for the soul as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anytime you can break up a split on this, I mean, it's really just staying clean. It's really just hanging in there and grinding it out. I mean, they're just I don't know how I can emphasize it anymore. They're just brutal. I can't think of any place else that's tougher than Coldwater.
There's only 16 lanes in this house, by the way. And it's a big supporter of local bowling, high school bowling. There's the Coldwater high school team bowls out of here. Past state champions. You see all those up there in the shape in the state of Ohio? And that's all for the Coldwater Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think you bowl in a center that's so tough, it makes you, when you go elsewhere, it doesn't seem so bad. So I think that's why they have so much success, along with just great support here, obviously.
EJ likes that one. Yeah, that I've seen enough EJ Tackett in my career to know when he likes something. Mm-hmm. And he can get fussy when he doesn't like things, but there's no doubt he likes that one.
Yeah, he's moved in quickly already. You know, it's they just broke down so quickly here. It was almost hard to keep up, because like there'd be a couple games I'd have like the front four, and then all of a sudden it was like, where does the ball go? And I don't understand why it just all of a sudden just changed. It's just crazy.
And he liked that one as well. He started to step to the right, EJ Tackett. And when he strikes in a quiet building, you can hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's starting to get the pair figured out. Took him a few shots, but
now,
he's getting lined up now.
You're looking at a replay of the roll-off with Brent Boho. And here is Brent, who actually, watch this. However, he ran into a big four in the sixth frame, and it was Justin Knowles who walked away with the win there, which was essentially the 4-5 match if we had a 5-person stepladder. And you see Knowles with a beautiful strike. He needs it because E.J. Tackett, as Brian mentioned, seems to have gotten into a groove.
Yeah, and especially now that they're not moving pairs, you know, the EJ, if he gets lined up, he gets comfortable. He can run this ladder here, just knowing, you know, not having to cross the whole building, not having to figure out pair to pair. Once you kind of get lined up, he can make a run at this.
Now he will have a fellow right-hander standing by in Sam Cooley if he gets through. Cooley next, and then Graham Fa. Only a 3-match stepladder today. Oh, flush! Justin Knowles is not giving in an inch.
No, he's hanging in there. He's making some good shots. Like I said, he's throwing the purple hammer. He's using a lot of speed to just try to keep it online. They were starting to hook a lot there towards the end of the last block, and like I said, that adjustment he made it's been good for him.
Max for Tackett would be 257. I don't think it's going to get over there. No. Quitter 10 there, so scratch the 257.
Just didn't look like he got it off his hand quite as good as the other ones. You know, I mean, it was close. It just, and here, any little mistake off your hand, it's so easy to leave those corners.
And one thing I didn't see is a lot of messengers here.
No, they if you got a messenger here, you just thank your lucky stars you got one. Like, the pins just don't fly around. They just they're just kind of dead on the ball, just kind of dead on arrival. It feels like a lot. I mean, there's some shots where I'm like, man, that was pretty good, and then it just like you're just like, man, did that hit like it was 6 pounds?
That's Brian Robinson. I'm Dave Lamont, and you are watching on YouTube, the PBA channel, the PBA BoulderStore.com Classic, presented by Moxy's Xtra Pair, the 14th edition here in Coldwater, Ohio. Likes it. Whew, I can understand why he liked it.
Yeah.
Man.
That was a really good shot. I'll just say this: he got Coldwatered, and I mean, sometimes you just throw them good, and you can't just get mad at yourself. You just got to go, okay, I made a great shot, make the spare, and just hope that Knowles doesn't strike here.
You've heard the ringing 10. That was tinnitus right there. That is going to ring in your ears forever. And something or someone caused EJ to pull up on the spare attempt. And this is a critical shot in the foundation, with Knowles working a double and looking equally as comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
No trouble. Even a brief distraction didn't cause an upset. But Justin in a position for a, 245 max, which would be an easy win because the best Tackett is going to be able to do now is 225.
But this one's the big one, because if he doesn't get the strike here, then it's pretty much a ball game. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much an even match.
Mixer again.
Great shot.
And you see the little turkey symbol.
Yeah, I didn't see too many of those this week.
Well, unfortunately, that's why you're sitting here.
Yes.
Well, still has a chance. In fact, he can end the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a strike here. Otherwise, EJ will have a chance if he doesn't strike here.
Sam Cooley getting up and getting ready. He'll get a few practice tosses on 9 and 10. Oh, okay.
Oh,
he got the 10 out.
Yeah, that's big, because leaving a split there, then that would make it a lot easier on EJ. Now, if he makes the spare and gets 10, now it forces EJ to get a double and 9 to win the match. Yeah, he just didn't get that one off his hand very good. He just kind of grabbed it a little bit and just tried to help it. And it was so easy to do because the ball didn't really want to recover when you missed for him left. It didn't really want to recover, so it was easy to try to help it. Oh,
completely unexpected, and that leaves him at 211.
Yeah, that's big chopping the spare right there. Now EJ just needs a mark and good count, and he advances.
But this is Coldwater.
Yeah.
So at Pla-Mor lanes, you just do not know what you're going to get anytime you step up.
No, absolutely.
And he almost had. Phil, are you able to show that replay? Look at what it might have been for EJ Tackett. There's a big 4 there for half a blink.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster right there. And now, I mean, so now he needs to make this spare, but he still needs to get 9. And honestly, 9 on this is not the easiest thing to do.
First things first, this is the exact spare that was just missed. It is made.
Yeah.
Well, strike does it, 9 does it, 8, and we'll roll it off. Anything less than 8, and it will be Justin Knowles versus Sam Cooley in our next match.
Yeah, I think he liked that shot. I think he was surprised it hooked that much. I think he's going to make an adjustment here. I think the plays move a little left and just get just a little softer and just trust it and hope that. And honestly, a ring 10 is good. Hitting the pocket, that's a winner. So I think he's got to make sure just get the pocket, and I think he'll be okay.
9 or better to win. He likes it. He knows. He knows.
Yep.
That is literally a walk-off for EJ Tackett. Yeah. He'll take this one by 2 pins over Justin Knowles who missed a 4-7, chopped off the 4, and that killed him, and he let the guy you don't want to let in the door.
Yeah, and you can see he moved a little deeper on that one, and you saw it floated through there better. It didn't read the lane quite as quick, and it got down the lane much better.
Well, I hope our other matches are as exciting. There's no reason to think they won't be. We have a righty-righty tilt here. Sam Cooley, who was in the PBA playoff last year, has an animal pattern victory, and we've won a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's been bowling amazing. So I roomed with Sam, and we bowled in Jonesboro. He bowled very well there. Easily could have made the Stepladder there. Bowled really good in Minster, managed to be the top seed and win there, and obviously managed to be the 2 seed here. And, it's incredible how well he's been bowling. Like I said earlier, the confidence is, I think, a big key, and I think he's just really trusting and believing in his adjustments. He's not thinking about, other things. He's just been bowling really well.
He'll take on E.J. Tackett in a righty-righty matchup. And we'll take a look here at Sam on the year while we have a moment. Let's see here. Regionally speaking, well, nationally speaking, didn't have a tremendous year nationally.
No, he bowled really well the year before when he won his title. He finished 6th in both the U.S. Open and the Masters, and had a tremendous year. Obviously finished 2nd in the playoffs as well. Just didn't quite bowl as good as he did the year before. And, I think, I know he said he'd been working on his game, trying to just clean up some things. And, I think he's finally feeling comfortable with everything and just got like I said, he's got his confidence back.
Well, he bowled a regional. He bowled that Pleasant Day Schools Suburban Lane Central Open in July and finished 3rd.
Yeah, my home center in Morgantown.
And he won the Kramer Roofing Central. Is that the center with the sports bar attached?
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of the best sports bars in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
period. It's tremendous.
Yeah, Kegler Sports Bar.
That's
it's
it.
Amazing.
It is so good.
I may have or may not have visited that place a few times in my life.
If I haven't been to Morgantown in a few years, but the last time I was there, I was announcing a basketball game, and I made sure I went there because the food is spectacular. It's a great setup. And obviously you've got a bowling center there as well. So good deal all the way around.
Yeah, it's you can't go wrong with Suburban Lanes and Keglers, and their food is awesome. And,
it really is.
No
joke.
I love eating there. I mean, even though, I can't eat it somewhere every single day, but it's pretty close to, I could eat there almost, every couple weeks, almost every day.
Sam, past winner of the World Cup 2018, won the Australian Masters in 2010. 30-year-old righty from Australia.
Won the World Games this year down in Alabama.
In Birmingham, that's right.
And he was showing me the medal, and that thing is heavy. You could take someone out with that.
Well, you better be nice to him then.
Well, I'll just take it away from him while he's not looking,
Run that through the TSA machine, and off you go.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a couple medals. He's got the trophy from Minster. He's got that one. He's got some hardware for me to steal, if he doesn't pay me for gas, I could use that as collateral,
Problem is gas is getting cheaper these days, so a month ago that would have been a heck of a threat.
Absolutely. Well, I can use it on the hotel bill too.
Good point.
Yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat, is that right?
So, somewhat different styles here, or do you think they'll play the lanes somewhat similarly?
I don't. Sam had two strategies. He either hooked it like EJ, or he used it a lot of surface on his urethane ball further right with a lot of speed. Because Sam's really good at throwing it hard. I don't know which way he's going to go. He had a great look on the fresh with the urethane ball, and I think if it's held up on this pair, I think he might try to do that instead of trying to hook it because. EJ looked okay when he was hooking it. It wasn't like particularly. Especially that shot that overhooked on him. I think he was surprised, and I think Sam's going to try to play him a little straighter and see if he can keep that in play.
Sam owns 4 regional titles.
Oh, and he's buying dinner if he wins, because if he wins Minster and this, he's buying dinner for the rest of the trip. So.
Well, not only that, he's making more money than you are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yes.
Yeah.
We are being produced, by the way, by $2 Phil, who is here, and Jason is also here running cameras, and it's good to have these guys on board. Had Brent Boho made the show, Phil had a 1 hour long dissertation on his past, but Brent got beat by Justin Knowles, and E.J. Tackett starts with a strike on the left-hand lane. Cooley's choice as the higher seed.
Yeah, I think he wants him EJ to finish on the right lane because it looked like that was the more troublesome lane for him.
And that's the lane that Cooley will start on, see if it's going to be troublesome for him. And it'll be fun to see how much different, if at all, his approach will be than EJ's. Now they both start with a strike.
Yeah, he had a great look, just like I said, just using a lot of surface on that urethane ball, just trying to get it to hook and have a little bit of room to the right so it can come back. Using a pitch black.
Yeah, EJ had showed me a ball, I don't think it's out there now, that was in 2013 is when it was made. And he was ready to drop that on, and I don't see it there. Good looking. Oh, how do you get a stiff 7?
Coldwater.
That's the Coldwater. That is what we mean by getting Coldwater. You're right, Brian. That's exactly right. This is ridiculous.
Oh, man, I did that 3 times during qualifying, and it just drove me nuts every single time. You're like, oh, yeah, this is it. And then you're just like, it's the only sport I know where you can throw it absolutely 100% perfect and just get 9. It's amazing.
Shows great focus by these pros that they can bounce back and make that spare, while physically we know it's not a difficult spare for a pro, but still you've got to feel such a sense of letdown.
Well, it's if EJ gets a 3-bagger here, all of a sudden you feel like you're behind in the match, and
well, you are.
Yeah. Well, but like you could be still tied with
right.
him, and then and now you're like, man, I just had a bad break.
And EJ's making our jobs really easy.
Yeah.
Because we know when he's throwing a strike, because he tells you when the ball is halfway down, right there, a little more than halfway down.
Yeah, he's moved even a little deeper on that lane, and it still tried to creep up on him there, so I'm sure he's going to move even more. So it looks like that right lane wants to hook a little more than the left lane.
Of course, he can always adjust his speed and whatever it takes. Runner-up a week ago on his 30th birthday in Arkansas. And there is a messenger.
Wow.
Well, his kind of rev rate lends to messengers.
Yeah, I think that's the first messenger of the week. No.
Well, you know what? Honest
like
to God, Brian, I think it's one of the first I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, I think I had one this week, and it was not like the most enthusiastic messenger. Let's put it that way.
He just dumped the package on the front door and walked away.
It was more of a senior messenger.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Didn't ring the doorbell. Didn't ask for a signature.
No.
Oh. Well, he's had a stone 7, and now that in back-to-back shots.
He's got to be feeling pretty cursed right now. Just hit the pocket twice and not get much for it.
Keeping us cool. It's still early, still plenty of time.
Yeah.
And any pros who may be watching the show understand exactly what he's going through. As soon as Phil put up Coldwater, they nod.
Yeah, it's amazing the reputation of this bowling center. It's kind of nowhere else can you say you got Coldwater. Most of the time it's like, oh, I need to do this or make an adjustment. Here you can just kind of say, Coldwater.
Oh, man. Well, he had to get a break. That shot was too good not to strike. So E.J. Tackett steps up, having hit the front three.
Yeah, I think if he stuffed an 8-pin there, he might have just left the building. So.
Well, that means you would have left the building because you would have to, So I'm glad he stayed.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a fun car ride home. No.
No, I can only imagine. How long would it take to cool off? Like 100 miles?
Yeah.
Well, once he starts walking, you can almost put the X up. I know it's all automatic, of course, but it's a real tip-off. And, again, about 2/3 of the way down, I'm on my way.
Yeah, it looked like he moved again, and that one was really good. He's really getting comfortable on this pair, and he's making a lot of great shots.
And he struck twice on that right-hand lane, which was the lane that Cooley designated Tackett finish on. So has he figured something out? Now, we still have a ways to go here, so Cooley is far from out of it, but Tackett is hot.
Oh, yeah.
And just in case an insurance messenger came over.
That was just maybe a pinch in, but it just laid there, and that was he's got some room now. It's looking good. His pin carries off. To have good pin carry here, that's saying something.
So Cooley has bowled well. Those 9s you see in the second and third frames, stone 7, ringing 10. He could easily be matching Tackett strike for strike.
Oh, boy. Oh.
All right, you reacted, he reacted, and yet it's flush. What happened there?
Well, I think he missed in, but he must have just missed it off of his hand just enough that it just saw the oil, and maybe also the practice where you got that urethane to kind of push some of that oil down. He's maybe created a little room now. Because he needs to keep striking, because I don't know when Tackett's going to quit.
Well, this is the part about I think EJ is one of the best front runners on the tour, and he is showing it right here in this game. But Sam Cooley is trying to catch him and still has a chance to do so. And, well, you can't complain a single thing about the way Sam has bowled in this game. Not one thing.
No, he's bowled great, and he's hanging in there, And he didn't let those the ring 10 and the stone 7 get to him. He's just like, hey, I'm just going to keep throwing those same shots and just see what happens. E.J.
Tackett defeated Justin Knowles. If you're just sitting down and joining us here on your device on YouTube on the PBA channel, defeating Knowles 213 to 211. And his strike string comes to an end at 5. And the winner of this match will take on Graham Fach for the championship.
Well, that's the break that Sam needed to hang in there in this match. Now it's only a 10-pin match.
And that was the right lane. Biting him, but it's still a good-looking shot. Just didn't get a break on the 10-pin, but so EJ will channel some of that frustration into this shot, I am sure.
Yeah, he's going to make the pins on this lane pay for it, so I wouldn't want to be standing up on lane 9 if I was any of the pins.
Ooh, wow. That got away from him big time.
Yeah, there's that hang spot. It just, you think on 38 feet it would come back from there, but in this building it's tilted so much to the right there that it just won't recover from there. It's just amazing.
It's the second time today this has happened to him. I think it was on this lane also, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. He just kind of missed it and fanned it, and it's so easy to do here. I mean, it's just they're just so tight to the right that you're trying to make sure that the guys are trying to hit it, trying to get it to recover, and it's just so easy to just let it just slip. And like again, it's 38 feet. You think it would recover from there, and it just just doesn't.
A smiling Graham Fach just walked by our broadcast area to get a couple of warm-up shots in. You see him, Graham, over there. Yeah, Sam Cooley is starting to pull on the rope a little bit here and get a little closer. Another X marking the spot would be huge. That's got to hurry. Oh, it does. Wow.
He had a good look with this ball. I think just, you know, using the urethane ball, but with a lot of surface is helping him where he can throw it a little faster. It recovers from the right. If he didn't use that much surface, it would have probably just hit the 3-pin in the face.
Oh, what, 269 is game for Cooley. What, 267 for EJ potentially?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, we didn't see many of these scores this week.
No. No.
This is great bowling by both competitors. Oh, yeah.
Boy, that really held.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's created a little room. He's got using the urethane ball. He pushed some oil down, but with all that surface, it's recovering from the right, and the urethane when he misses left is holding. It's he had a great look doing this earlier. So.
Well, in the qualifier rounds, EJ was 10th. At the end of the first advancer, 7th. Second round, 5th. And then, of course, 3rd on the stepladder. Got into that one.
That was a great shot
Woof.
there.
Was it ever. On that right lane that he'll be finishing on. Just absolutely racked it.
Yeah, and Sam pretty led this tournament most of the way until the very last game when Graham got around him, and he bowled fantastic.
Well, that's who we beat a couple of days ago. So we may get a rematch, but it is still up for debate.
This is a big one here. Oh, he missed right again.
Wow, way right. And he gets that same 1-2. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's the same one. He just didn't throw it good again. He just got it to the right quick, and it just, again, it just doesn't recover from there.
And it's a disappointed spare conversion for Tackett. He can still roll a 247, but it may not be enough depending on what happens now, because Sam Cooley can end this match.
Yeah, if he gets a strike here, all he needs to do is get a strike in the 10th or a 9 spare strike to advance. Let's see what he can do.
He's got it figured out. And Sam, not the emotional type too much on the lanes there, with a little bit of a hand slap to indicate his joy.
Yeah, he's pretty even keeled. About the only time is when he really needs one. You'll see him give it the slap out, but most of the time he's pretty quiet.
6 straight.
Looks pretty good.
He is just squirting the pins like toothpaste right now out of the tube.
I mean, that was just aced right there. I mean, you can't throw it any better than that.
I love to watch that one pin that just takes off. There it goes. That's just awesome when a player can get that done. And Sam Cooley and Graham Fach, part 2.
Part 2.
Coming up.
Actually, part 3. They bowled each other. It was Graham stole the title from him in Morgantown. So this is actually the rubber match.
That's right.
It's
you know what? Sam told that to me a little while ago. You're right. So, listen, E.J. Tackett bowled great, except a couple of shots got away from him on the left lane. So he'll take a second place a week ago, a third place here. I'm not sure what his schedule is after today, what his plans are. If he'll any more regional tournaments, I'm sure he'll keep bowling for the he'll go to Virginia, where we will be next week.
He is going to Virginia. He told me he's going to bowl. There's a regional in the middle of the week, and then Chesapeake next week, so he will be there.
Good. Well, so will we. That's our next in this series of PBA YouTube broadcasts of Super Regionals. I know Tom Doherty's planning on going to Virginia as well. I'm sure we'll get a great field for that one in Chesapeake, but we've got a championship to decide right here with Graham Fach and Sam Cooley of the PBA BowlerStore.com Classic, presented by Moxy's Extra Pair. As EJ gets a round of applause from everybody here, take a moment just to let you know about the top. Well, I could do the top 32 because you're in that.
Yeah, I'm just more on the bottom of that
Well,
list.
I wasn't going to say that, but you made the top 32. Wes Malott finished in 26th, J.R. Raymond 24th. The Candyman, Sean Maldonado, was up early and had a chance to get through, but faded to touch and finished 19th. Pat Dombrowski 18th. And Jordan Malott beats Dad, doesn't make the final 16, but did finish in the 17th position. And then the top 16, places 9 through 16, Trevor Roberts, Tom Doherty, Matt Sanders, Kyle Bigelow, Tom Smallwood, Ryan Liederbach, DJ Archer was 15th, and Chad Roberts took the 16th position. And then the Stepladder, we've seen Justin Knowles, who beat Brent Boho. Let me get that. So Boho finished in 5th. Andrew Anderson, Dick Allen, Arturo Quintero, the other bowlers who made it into the top 8. Dick, a past winner here. 2012, I believe it was, that Dick Allen won this event in Coldwater. So we now have the lefty-righty, and Graham Fach, 4 regional titles this year.
Yeah, he's just been bowling great in the Central region. It just seems like every time he bowls, he wins. He's just been bowling really well. Got a lot of confidence. Made an equipment change. He went to Brunswick, and just seems like he's been able to really take advantage of what equipment he has.
Well, in the Central Regional, he is number 1 with the 4 wins. He has made step ladders. This is his 8th step ladder. He has a 4th, a 2nd, and that was the Kramer Roofing Central Classic on August 11th, a 3rd on the 7th. And that was just a couple of days ago, the roofing one. That was the one that Cooley won. A win of the Pleasant Day Schools Suburban Lane Central Open, a win of the Park Lane Central Open, and a win in April at the Bolero Evansville Central Midwest Open. That was the one-day event. And a win back in February at the PBA 50 Doubles Clutch Lanes Central Open.
That's amazing. All those wins, and it's not like, you know, he's like just barely making the cuts in the other events. He's finishing 2nd. He's finishing 3rd.
Yep.
It's just incredible. He's just running us over this year.
And he bowled that one with Michael Haggett, and they won the title. So we'll see how this goes. Arguably the 2 hottest bowlers this week in the building, going at it face-to-face again, Fach and Cooley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, you know. After you start bowling someone in the title, you know, several times, it's interesting how, you know, even though there's not maybe the lane play, but, you know, the gamesmanship, and see what happens, you know, what's going to happen in this match, or what's going to take place. I'm interested to see what if Sam's if he's gonna stick with the urethane ball, And is Graham going to keep circling the purple hammer?
What would you tell Sam? What would you, if you were a ball rep right now, you get a chance to, you get 30 seconds with each guy. What would you first tell, since we're looking at both of them now, what would you tell Sam as he brings another ball in? But what would be the advice?
I think as long as he has the hold with that urethane ball and it still goes through the pins, I think he sticks with it because that's it's been his best luck. Because every time he's gone to the resin ball, as the lanes break down and the urethane goes away, it doesn't look quite as good. But with only him and EJ on the pair, it might not be so. It might have a little bit better. The oil might be on the lane a little bit easier for him to move in and not have as much traffic from all the lane-to-lane play and everything because he's not changing pairs, he's not moving around, which was the tricky part in this building. But I think he's got to stick with the urethane ball. I would just tell him, hey, just keep making great shots, just keep making the adjustments, and I don't think there's much really you need to say. He just needs to just stay in the moment and make great shots, and that's what I would tell him. Honestly.
What about Fach? What would be?
I think as long as he's got that urethane ball going, he was going a little slower than Knowles. He was trying to circle a little bit more, and as long as he sees his ball kind of push, and he can get it to lay off, I think he's going to be golden.
So we're off for the championship here in Coldwater. Graham Fach, Sam Cooley, and Fach the higher seed. He wants Cooley to finish on the right-hand lane.
Yeah.
Well, does it matter what lane Sam Cooley finishes on right now?
I think it doesn't matter quite as much for Sam because he's a little further right on the lane, and it seems like he has the pair a little bit more similar than what EJ had it. But let's see what it's interesting. I haven't seen him use this ball very much this week. He was using the purple hammer a lot more.
That looked like he threw a little harder, too.
Yeah, he went a little firmer. In practice, he was throwing the purple, slow hooking it, and then he jumped where Knowles was with this pink ball. He got it way out there, and it recovered.
Well,
interesting.
Well, I give him a little credit because he's only got one shot at this, and he makes a change.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't believe in what you're doing or the ball that you're throwing, you got to make a change. You can't just piddle around. You have to just go for it. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Man, flush right on that left lane. Graham from Urbana, Ohio, and just unloads here. And he does seem to be throwing with more speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stronger urethane, so he needs to keep his speed on it. Otherwise, it's going to hook early. But him keeping his speed on it, he can use that little bit stronger ball and probably give himself some room to the left. As you saw in the first one, it recovered from a zone that I didn't think it was going to come back from.
He is getting so much action.
Tell you what, you start getting those hits here, that's pretty good. That's kind of the hit here, is that light pocket zone. If you can get those hits here, that's almost the best carrying hit here in this house. It's starting to get a little lazy, the urethane ball, but as long as I think he makes sure he stays a little softer with it, he's probably moved just a touch left, stay softer, I think he's going to be just fine with this ball.
So double for both bowlers to start in the title match, $10,000 to the winner. We'll have a brief interview with the winner as soon as the match finishes.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to blink first might be, or who's going to get cold watered first.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's gotten cold watered yet.
You can see he's moved in just a touch, not a lot, but just gotten a little softer. You can see the ball's getting a little lazier, but he's still getting the good pin carry.
And the same kind of carry on the other side for Graham Fach.
That's amazing. He's really trusting it to the left. It's recovering really nicely for him. Boy, this is going to be a battle. This is going to be an exciting finish. It's amazing how well both of these guys are bowling right now. Performing at a very high level.
Cooley led, and Brian mentioned this earlier, but if you're just joining us, Cooley led the tournament right to the last game of qualifying. Fach passed him, and a messenger's going to quit on him.
Looks like this left lane wants to hook up just a little earlier. Both the shots on the right lane have gone light, and both of these look like they're trying to check up a little quicker. So he's got it was still a pretty good shot. Probably just needs to move in just a little bit in the oil, just to give it just a little bit, not roll up so quick.
Ooh. All right, well, you'll take it. Wasn't pretty, but it doesn't have to be. And Graham Fach stays clean, and now we'll see if Cooley can continue to strike. Sam made a bit of a comeback in defeating E.J. Tackett, who ran into some trouble on that left lane with a couple of bad shots. And Cooley was very steady in winning. Can he pull it off and win twice in a week?
We're going to have to make more room in the car if he gets another trophy.
The trophies, the cash.
Yeah.
It's interesting. These aren't the classic 10 straight back bombers that we love to watch. These are, the old Billy Whaley statement, hit him thin, watch him spin. And that's what we're seeing here from Sam.
Yeah, he's just gotten a little slower, and yeah, you can see the ball's just it's hidden. So I mean, I wouldn't don't need to make an adjustment, but just you can tell they're just getting a little lazy, a little behind it, but he's staying soft with it, which is good, because I think if he got a little fast, the ball would probably hit the 3-pin in the face like EJ's ball did on those shots in his match.
Ooh, through the nose. First time we've really seen that, and a punishing 4-9 for Sam.
I wonder if that noise in the background caught him. It just didn't look like he stayed down through it quite as well as the other shots.
I heard like a little beeping, almost like a stove or a microwave is ready, but the kitchen is at the other end of the building, so I don't think that's what it was, but maybe somebody had an alarm on a phone or something. All right, his first open frame and an opening for Graham Fach. I hear that noise again. It's very definitely somebody's alarm, whether they need an alarm to take some medicine or make a phone call or whatever, but they need to silence it.
It's an alarm for the title match.
Well, it's alarming for Sam Cooley to have to bowl through that. Wow. Well, that can happen at any bowling establishment around the nation, but still.
Yeah, that was a pretty good shot there. He, he was gone pretty light on both shots. He looked like he moved just back just a little to the left to get the friction quicker, and made a great shot. And it's a pretty close ball game now.
Yeah, strike would have been a real punch to the gut for Cooley, so he avoided that. And Fach was a little close on the last one. And did he over-adjust? He did.
Oh.
He over-adjusted. Unbelievable.
And, it's interesting. So I watched that title match that him and Sam and Graham had in Minster, and he missed a single pin, too, to lose the match by a few sticks. I wonder if that's also going to cost him.
Well, wait, 9 9-pin difference between the two. Easily manageable if you're Fach to come back. And that's a wonderful shot. His most solid-looking strike of the day when he needed it to kind of get his momentum back a little bit after that mistake. Yeah, I just wonder, but remember the last 7-pin he shot at was so close. He almost missed it on the left side. I wonder if that was in his brain.
You know, sometimes if you just if it doesn't feel right in your hand, you try to just start forcing it off your hand, then all of a sudden you start making mistakes that way.
Well, it's a critical one, potentially, in this match. He may still go on to win. I mean, the last time I was here, 2019, Phil reminded me, Tommy Jones won the title and threw a gutter ball in the title match.
He threw 2 gutter balls.
That's right. That's right. And he won.
And he won.
Coldwater.
He got Coldwater twice and won.
Oh, and a little tip from Sam Cooley on the 10. So he retains that lead.
It looks like he moved in even just a little more and got on it just a little harder to really make it face up there.
This is the 40-foot Marshall Holman pattern, by the way, that we're on. Last week in Jonesboro was Mark Roth. So Marshall Holman is the pattern here. I don't know if Marshall's watching. There's a chance. He'll either catch it on the replay, perhaps. That's one of the beauties of this, by the way. If you'd like to watch it again, or maybe you missed watching E.J. Tackett, you sat down late and you'd like to watch E.J. or Justin Knowles in a very exciting opening match, it's on YouTube, man. Watch it anytime you want.
It's his pattern. I feel like he has to watch, right?
Marshall, yeah. You know what? I should text him and go, hey, buddy, let's get on this.
Tell him, listen, we put this pattern out just for you.
It's got your name on it. Ooh, no, through the nose.
Now that one looked pretty good, and it checked pretty early, and it never got to the right. So he's going to have to move a little bit more on this lane. That was surprising. You could see it. I mean, it checked at about 20, 25 feet, and it never got to the right at all. He's been getting it to about 8 down lane, and that one never even thought of pushing. I think even he was a little surprised how much that one hooked.
Well, you can't give one back after your opponent misses a makeable spare. You can't give one back, and so Cooley smothered that in the 7th. But this is still a big question mark as to who's going to walk out of here with the trophy and the check, and whether your car will be filled with money and trophies or curse words.
Well, I'm hoping it's money because the curse words don't sound like a whole lot of fun.
They don't buy you many meals either.
No, that's I don't think they take that at the restaurant.
Seen a lot of that type of strike from both sides, and Graham Fach fights back with a double after the missed 7-pin.
Yeah, just getting in that light pocket zone. These guys are really liking that hit in this match.
E.J. Tackett, I think, has grabbed his check and is taking leave. I assume heading home, Indiana.
Yeah, I think he's only about an hour from here, so not too far.
Not too bad. Okay. Did I just see a ringing 610?
Yeah, that one was a popular hit. I know I left on my side the fast 8, 4-7 several times. You just think, man, it's weird. You think it should just go high flush, and it just that 2-pin or the 3-pin for him just jumps around it.
That was crazy.
That was a popular hit this week. Not in most bowling centers, it's not quite a popular hit, but here it was very, very. It was popular.
That's why it's on this year's tournament T-shirt. You got Coldwatered.
Yeah.
And it's very true.
There wouldn't be enough room to list every single Coldwater hit on the shirt.
Oh, no, the offenses, no. You know, they've got to get back to their Twitter account being a little more active here. I wish they would, because they used to put out highlights. They would tag Phil and I on it of the league bowlers or people just getting, these massacred, horrifying leaves, with the hashtag Coldwatered. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see them start doing that again. Count the mixers in this match for each bowler. They've got to have at least, when you add them all up, it's got to be about a half a dozen.
Yeah, I mean, and they all carry, but, you know, it's amazing. The ones that are a little more flush, they haven't been carrying as much. Like I said, all week it seems like the light hits were the better hit this in this building.
So I see a 235 maximum for Fach. And 246 for Cooley if he can go off the sheet.
Yeah, I think this is the big one. This he can't lose the match if he strikes here. Moved in a little bit more.
And kick save and a beauty on the 10.
Yeah, you could see the ball he moved in a little more, didn't quite grab the lane so early that time, and man, that was some good pin action there for him.
So Graham Fach's got to throw a lot against the wall here to make Sam Cooley nervous in the 10th. And starts with a strike in the 9th. Third meeting in a regional final in days, really. Recent days between these two. And there's yet another thin spin shot.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going to happen on this lane if he was going to get the hit, because it looks like the ball wants to go by it a little bit more on this lane. And he got the hit, so now let's see what he does off of the, what did you call it, the ringing 610?
The ringing 610. It's looked that way to me. I mean, I realize that's not a technically correct term, but my eyes saw a pin just fly around that 610, almost above it.
No, it's amazing how often that happened this week. It was crazy.
Well.
And another one.
Incredible. That time the 6-pin was victimized by something that came off the sidewall and took it down. Let's see if we can see who the culprit was here.
I think that was the 3-pin coming off the wall, or the head pin coming off the wall. I'm sorry, head pin. Now he's got to get this one to force the first one in the force the double in the 10th.
Now give Fach credit. He is indeed throwing everything at the wall right here. And ask for a re-rack.
Wonder if that was to buy time or if the rack was really.
I've always wondered about that myself. You know, how all of a sudden in the last frame of all day long bowling here, you notice something is 1/32 of a centimeter off. I think that was just a timeout. Oof, well, whatever it was a brilliant idea.
Now this one's just as important because this forces Sam to get a double to beat him. If Sam goes strike 9 spare, we have a tie.
Well, it wouldn't be the second one of the day we had. Justin Knowles and Brent Boho about 2 hours ago, roughly. Got into a little bit more. Got into a tie for the last spot after 17 games, and Knowles defeated Boho to get to the match against E.J. Tackett, and Tackett won that one. And then Tackett was defeated by Sam Cooley, and that's where we are now. Another re-rack for Graham.
And Wes Malott and Ronnie Russell had a roll-off in the round of 32.
That's right. Malott won that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, qualifying.
He was urging that one on. So a solid 234, but will it be enough?
That was big because now Sam needs strike 9 spare to win instead of the double. So that was a big hit there.
Wow, little wrap around there. Bad break. All right. Got to have this one. You know, these super regionals are so condensed. It's so intense and so fast. And all of a sudden, everything stops for a moment for the biggest shot of the tournament.
Yep. Looks pretty good. Oh.
A bucket? Where did that come from?
That's what I was a little worried about. All those shots that went light, and urethane just can. It just sometimes it just doesn't want to grab when you start moving into that oil more.
Boy, the head, that's just unbelievable. We've gotten so spoiled by all those thin hits. An absolute shocking finish when you think about it. As great as Sam bowled, there's nothing he can do now.
Yeah.
Graham Fach is your champion.
Yeah, it just looked like the ball just kind of quit on him there. That's what I was worried about with the urethane, and it just happened right there. Where it just didn't quite finish.
So they're even this week, and now Fach has a 2-1 lead. What are the odds these two will duel again for another regional or any kind of a – well, there's the leave of the day right there. If you're going to leave one behind, that's the one to have. But a tough finish for Sam, but a wonderful event. And there is your smiling winner, and I think I need to go over there and have a quick word with him.
They couldn't find anybody else to do commentary, so they pulled me in.
All right, Graham. Come on down before you cash. Folks on YouTube and everybody here in the house would love to hear from our new champion. Let's hear it for Graham Fach, everybody. All right, so you got your revenge, but this was very difficult, and once again, getting Coldwater ends up being a factor.
Getting cold water is always a factor in this building. No, props to Sam. Sam's been bowling incredible. He's been at the top of the standings, everything he seems to bowl now. So I knew he was going to give me a good match, and he definitely did.
Well, Brian Robinson was with me, and he noticed you made a change. I guess it was a ball change, and were you throwing a little bit harder in this match?
I didn't throw that ball at all in competition, but with how Justin broke down the pair, I figured that would give me the best chance to strike consistently.
You knew that you had to have a big finish, which you were able to accomplish. What goes through your mind when you're in that situation, which you've been in many times before, but maybe for folks who are watching, what a professional thinks about when they get into a 9th and 10th when it's tight?
Well, unfortunately, I put myself in a position where I didn't have ball in hand, so I wanted to make sure that Sam had to throw as many strikes as possible to beat me. And I'm just glad I was able to be in position to do that.
Well, you're bowling rather well yourself lately. What do you attribute that to?
A lot of hard work, a lot of support from fans, and, just practice.
Well, this building is legendary, and one of the reasons is that the folks have gathered right here. One more round of applause for your champion who's now going to go get your check. Congratulations, Graham Fach. Graham wins $10,000 and much, much more, and that's going to wrap up. I want to thank Brian Robinson for stepping in and providing color commentary on the PBA YouTube channel. We'll be back in another Sunday from Chesapeake, Virginia, 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the PBA YouTube. Thanks also to $2 Phil and to Jason for stepping in to produce. Thanks to everyone here in Coldwater. We love coming here to Pla-Mor lanes, and hopefully we can do it again next year. For all of us at the PBA, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
While they're taking pictures, I'm kind of out of it. This is not the official picture, so I'm just trying to prepare you. First off, congrats to Sam. Great week all week. The champion mixture in Coldwater all weekend. So we appreciate it coming over from Australia. On behalf of all of our 80 sponsors, so we have a lot of sponsors in the house here today. So this tournament's not going to happen without those 80 sponsors, especially Doug and Lori Davison, BoulderStore.com, being our title sponsor, and all of our volunteers, our staff. Did a wonderful job all weekend. It's been a long weekend, so we're looking forward to our champions party outside here in a little bit. So, with further ado, relax here, Graham. You just won the Pla-Mor, the 2022 BoulderStore.com Classic Champion Graham Fach. The owner of BoulderStore.com, Doug Davison, will present you with this lovely looking trophy. And my dad, Linus, has a $10,000 check. So while we're doing this, just hang with us. We got time here. Hang on. We want to thank my parents, Linus and Carol, for the hard work they do. Patty, my wife. Lori helped out with the food. My two daughters, Eric and Paige. And all of our staff back in the kitchen that were nice and noisy in the finals there. But they're pumping out the food out the carry-out, doing a great job. So everybody that helped tear down the bleachers or put them up, or all the volunteers, we're inviting you outside to the corporate tent for the champions party. Graham, you can stick around for a little bit and have a Pepsi or two if you'd like to. But we do play golf tomorrow morning, and it's always cool when we have the champion play golf. So Graham is playing golf this tomorrow, so we'll get to introduce him again. We have 17 teams playing tomorrow morning, and it'll be an exciting day. So congrats again, Graham, and thanks everybody.